Welcome to episode 237 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my guest this week, Kelly Gamet, is here. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay. How about you?
Doing well, and glad you're here, and glad also Jeff Gamet is here. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing awesome, and I'm really happy to get to hang out with both of you.
Yes, me too. It's been like way too long. We haven't had a show since the end of 2022. It's our first show of 2023. And welcome back and all kinds of that fun stuff and all kinds of news. And this thing called CES happened last week. So we're going to be touching upon that because I did get to attend that lovely conference, which was a lot of fun. Got to hang out with our friends, Mr. Joyner and Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Braun, and Pilot Pete, and a lot of other great folks. So it was a lot of fun, and you'll hear about that. But let's just jump into some of the news because there is a lot of news this week as well. First story: Comcast Xfinity Stream app is now gaining AirPlay support. Comcast has now added AirPlay support. Yahoo! To its Xfinity Stream app, allowing the Comcast cable subscribers to AirPlay to stream content from an iPad, an iPhone, to an Apple TV, or another AirPlay-enabled speaker or set-top box. Comcast says that they can stream live news and supports and on-demand movies and all kinds of stuff because they were so restrictive to this. It was kind of crazy. But this is super good news, and it only made total sense because they had to give up the fact that streaming is here to stay. Right, Kelly?
Yeah, I really do feel like that took a lot longer than it should have, to put it mildly. See also like Sony and the Discman and like Sony stance on many digital things. So yeah, and part of the reason for that is because it wasn't like you were getting around anything by AirPlaying it. Like, I want to be able to watch this on a nicer display than the place that I have access to it or something. And, that shouldn't be a hurdle. I kind of feel like if you are a television provider and not necessarily streaming only provider, then you should take every advantage you have. And if that is, I have a customer, then let them play your stuff that they are paying for on whatever they want so that they continue to be a paying customer. And I don't understand why that sounds like such a revolutionary thing. So, yeah. Yeah,
revolutionary. Yeah, well, it's Comcast. What do you expect?
They've spent all week managing my expectations. Yes. I'm here to tell you my connection has been...
You have to wonder why I have AT&T Fiber as my internet now, and hoping soon to say goodbye to Comcast, honestly. But some of us are stuck with it.
Fingers crossed I can do the same, because it's been up and down for no apparent reason most of the week. So, yeah.
And I know Jeff's been having awesome results with the Xfinity as well, right?
I look at it from the perspective of at least there's a broadband provider in Boulder. Yeah. Which is absolutely insane because that shouldn't be the defining factor, but here we are. And in Comcast Xfinity's defense, isn't it great that they are on the bleeding edge of providing us these incredibly useful technologies like AirPlay support?
Yeah, for 4 years.
5 years after everybody else has given it to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yay, Comcast.
Yay.
Yeah. They lost me as a content provider. And the only reason they had been a content provider was because up until just recently, the only way to get a reasonable priced broadband connection with them was to also pay for television content.
Yes.
And they can't do that anymore. So now they're offering us these really great packages just to cater to our users' needs.
No packages. That's what they're offering.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
It really is.
And, and ultimately, okay, whatever, that's fine. I don't care because the content I watch, I'm I'm paying for through other subscriptions anyhow.
Yep.
Yeah. But had Comcast given me the opportunity to have more flexibility in the way that I display my content, maybe I would have thought twice about dumping all the channels when that opportunity arose.
Same.
This is true.
Yeah. I won't say what it is, but there is something that I used to watch on broadcast television that is no longer available on broadcast television. It's only available through a streaming service. And I'm at the point where I'm starting to do the math on getting rid of cable altogether. Like, I love my TiVo, but it doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Nah, TiVo's
all just runs. It just records suggestions because none of my I'm not getting a chance to watch any of the things that I have, any of the other things I have season passed. I'm not seeking them out regularly. I don't just sort of sit and watch broadcast television like I used to. So, I'm kind of we're still going to end up having to have a TV package of some sort to continue to get $25 a month off or whatever. But if fiber ever comes to pass in my corner of the world, or I'm able to get some other reliable service option like T-Mobile 5G home internet, which was mentioned in the chat, it's entirely possible that I will be able to forsake Comcast entirely and just keep the streaming services I have and call it good. So we'll see.
Yep. And to Tech in the chat, and that's at youtube.com/intouchwithios. Says they switched over to T-Mobile 5G home internet for $50 a month from Spectrum. Loves it. And as long as you don't leave, it's $50. And then he also says Philo for the win. Yeah, they have some other good channels too. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story, which is Eddie Q shared letter reflecting on Apple's services in 2022. Apple highlighted the success of their services in 2022, which of course includes the App Store, Apple Music, Apple Arcade, Apple TV Plus, Apple Fitness Plus, Apple News Plus, Apple Maps, Apple Pay, Apple Card, and it just keeps going. iCloud.
The whole orchard.
The whole orchard, yes. One notable statistic was shared by Apple is the fact that App Store developers have now earned more than $320 billion since 2008. Meanwhile, Apple Fitness Plus now has 3,500 workouts and meditations available in its library. Apple Music has over 100 million songs, and blah, 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 blah. And then they actually released a press release. They actually put out a press release on this. And I'll just read the one thing in the first sentence here. What Addy said is 2022 is a groundbreaking year for entertainment. And at some point over the past year, you probably discovered a new app, a new song, a new TV show or a movie or a game, an experience that made you laugh, taught something new, or helped you see the world in a new way, and moved you to share it with others. It's extraordinary what Apple has done. We got a link in the show notes here as far as the press release as well as this article. But it's good to see that this is happening. And what do you think, Jeff, on this?
Yeah, if there was ever any doubt in your mind that Apple is a services company, in addition to a hardware company,
right?
Well, they took care of that with this press release. The timing of the press release, I think, was also very intentional to remind people that Apple is very, very committed to all of their content services, because they also did just lose or are about to lose the guy,
the head of not the head of services, but somebody at services really, really high up is leaving.
The guy that came from Time Warner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Who I also absolutely cannot think of his name, but that guy. Yeah, he's leaving.
We know what we know what you mean. But yeah,
Peter Stern.
There you go.
Stern.
Peter Stern.
They wrote a very good press release to give you a recap of all the services, and really it just shows you. And then Apple One, which I've been a subscriber since its inception, to have it all. So we got all this great stuff now. So I have it. I think Kelly, you were still debating. You're going just individual services, but
because Fitness Plus because I care about Fitness Plus and I don't care about News Plus, and that's so trying to run the numbers on that and figure out what to do with it. I will say that the thing I thought was notable in this press release was not Go Us, which was kind of the vibe here, but Eddie Q saying last week marked my 34th anniversary at Apple. And that means he joined in like 1989. And think about the company Apple was in 1989. And think about the company Apple is now. And I also liked the calling out of like the caliber of content that is available on Apple's various services. I don't know if you have it in the show notes. I didn't get all the way to the bottom to look, but Fitness Plus literally this week debuted kickboxing workouts. Yep. And I love kickboxing. And so I was very, very excited to have like a whole new kind of workout in the app, especially one that doesn't involve any equipment. You don't have to use anything extra in order to do it. And like reminding people that, you know, for at least another couple of months, the current Best Picture winner at the Oscars is a movie that you can only watch on Apple TV Plus. And back-to-back Best Comedy winners for Ted Lasso, my favorite TV show, and like seeing, like having them point out like some of the level of the stuff that they're competing with. And now that we've been talking about their media presence for more than 10 seconds, we have to say hi, Charlotte, over at The Edition, and say hello to her. I'm under a legal agreement. I have to do that if it's been 10 seconds of Apple's media company. Hi, Charlotte. You should go check her out at theedition.net. But like, I was just, when I saw that he'd been there for 34 years, like it has kind of felt like he's been there forever. And even people at this point who are longtime Apple watchers, he's been there longer than a lot of those folks have been paying attention. So I was just kind of thinking about like the fundamental change in every single aspect of his job from when he started until now. And you know how it's kind of impressive to think about that much evolution in that amount of time.
Right. And N2 Check in the chat says Apple recently added Apple Music to the Tesla. I think more Tesla added Apple Music to the Tesla. But it's flawless and he's very happy, and they're very happy. So
nice.
Good to hear finally that Tesla owners can listen to Apple Music. So I was in a Tesla. I think I rode in 5 Teslas in Uber when I was in CES. So and when one of the drivers talked about, I have Apple Music on here now as we were talking. So I saw it right on the screen. So it was great. Awesome. Next story here, the Apple TV users are complaining about tvOS 16.2 Watch Now redesign. Apple TV users are not happy with the design changes that Apple added to the Apple TV app with the launch of 16.2. iPad OS 16.2 and Mac OS 13.1, Ventura 13.1. According to a number of complaints, it's over on Reddit. People are absolutely hating the new format. And they roll right into previews with audio. What the heck, Apple? Up next is tiny and now easily skipped over on purpose. So I guess can't please everybody. But it's, I think they'll probably take a lot of this feedback, and who knows, they might make some changes. What do you think, Kelly?
I hope they do, because it's a usability issue at this point. And this is the complaint I have about a lot of things when Apple changes stuff. It's not that Apple's changing anything. It's not that they're trying something new or different in order to improve something. It's that there's no option. If I have some sort of need or want to do it a different way, one of the things that they have used forever to pitch people on using the TV app is that you can hook it to everything else except Netflix. Right. And then all you have to do on your TV is go to the TV app and let us take care of the rest of it for you. And that's not, and if you're going to take the up next away and make the up next hard and make it a rougher experience for me to pick up where I left off, then that's not especially if it's not for an understandable reason. Like, I don't get why this is what they're doing. Like, to go back to Fitness Plus for a second, I understand why they want all of the what's new at the top and the things that I've added to my personal library to be down at the bottom. And it's so that I see stuff in between. And I get that. I'm not super happy about it, but I understand why they did it. And I don't understand why you would force sound on people and why you would make it harder for people to spend more time in the app that you want them to use.
Yep, I agree. Anything bad, Chuff?
Apple failed with this redesign. This is an instance where Apple is not paying attention to user needs and instead is focusing on their own commercial needs in a very overt way. And of course, everything Apple does is about their commercial needs because it's a company and their job is to make money.
Right.
But what they're doing here, it's happening in the wrong way because they've taken a user experience and really degraded it. And I'm with the people that are upset about this because it's a pain. I'm not pitchforks and burning torches angry today. But I reserve the right to change my mind at any time and get like really furious. It's just an annoying, unnecessary change.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Next story here. Apple is going to be raising the price of the out of warranty iPhone, Mac, and iPad battery replacements starting this coming March. Apple is increasing the price of out-of-warranty battery replacements for all iPhone models older than the iPhone 14 later this year. The company did announce this on their website, and it's also going to increase the prices of the iPad and Mac battery replacements. So starting on March 1st in 2023, the price of out-of-warranty battery replacements for all models of the 13 and the 12 series of iPhone, as well as anything older, will increase by $20. Ooh. It was $69 for battery replacements prior to that, so it's going to go up to $89. Of course, if you have Apple Care or Apple Care Plus, you don't pay anything for a battery replacement once the battery health has decreased past 80%. That's always been a debate. And they're going to increase it by $30 for MacBook Pros and for iPads. So they're really hitting it with the battery increases here, guys. I think it's like $99 replacing an iPhone 14. So I mean, not that anybody would be needing to do that too often. The pricing. Assume that if you're not doing Apple Care, you're spending $100 to replace a battery in basically everything. Mm-hmm. So this 10-inch iPad Pro that I love, I need to get a new battery in it before March. Yep. Been putting off too long, Jeff.
Hey, lady, remind me on Friday.
Yeah. I should use my technology to my advantage.
That's right. So get if you need a battery replaced, do it before March. It's going to be important. Yep. There's been so many crazy rumors this over this holiday, and I just was like getting so kind of sick of already talking about the iPhone 15s coming and doing this, and the iPhone 16 is going to do this, and it just gets to the point to do we really do we really need to have these rumors? And sometimes I just don't even want to report them. But this one I can kind of believe. This was Apple reported planning no major updates for AirPods, Apple Watch, iPad, or Apple TV in 2023. Apple is planning no major upgrades to all those devices or the Apple Watch in 2023. This was according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, which you can trust. He's pretty reliable of his information. And then the AR and VR headsets, they're saying now that's going to have an imminent launch in 2023. I saw, quite a bit of the AR, VR headsets out at CES. So this is a big hot thing right now. But which is surprising, they ain't even going to think about the AirPods Max, which haven't been touched in many years. That they haven't really
ever. Like 1.0 came out, and that's still what it is, right?
And
we never got a revision, did we?
No, didn't. And can rule out a possibility of this is coming out. So it's kind of sad. And the same thing was going on with Macs. I mean, the MacBook Pros, we were thinking that there was going to be an M2, and that hasn't happened. So it's interesting to see that the hardware has kind of been in a stall as of late. What do you think, Al?
I liked. I sound very much like a crabby old person on this, because every time we talk about something, I'm like, I liked it the old way. I liked when we had what I used to call, I think Jeff, we talked about this over on the 2 Out podcast, the evolution track and the revolution track. So you'd get like a new number. A lot of people call it like the TikTok of the product line. So you would get the iPhone 4, and then the 4S, and then you would get the 5 and the 5S. So you would get like maybe like fundamentally new things, and then you would get the next year, you'd get the refinement of those things. And I liked that because it made it, you could kind of, even if you didn't know what to expect, you knew what to expect, which sounds kind of odd, but you knew like the next one was going to be a big change, and then the next one was going to be like, what if, like snow leopard, mountain lion, but for hardware, we're going to take what we gave you last year and we're going to turn it up a notch on all of those things, and then we're going to go back and work on something that's like massively different later. And that was super cool, and I really liked having that sort of, what's the S track going to be for hardware, and I liked when some of that was a little more obvious. I was really excited for Apple Silicon, mostly because I wanted to know what was going to happen when Apple got to innovate everything at their own pace, and they weren't beholden to literally any other company or their development or their manufacturing process in order to make the machines that they wanted to make. And I thought, great, like, the cuffs are off, like they're going to just go to town. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to get new machines, new computers the same way we get new pocket computers. They're going to give us a new one every year. It's going to be awesome. Maybe they'll also start coming in colors that don't match any of the colors of any of the other products. Not that irritates me to no end or anything, I promise. But I really wanted to see, like, there should be an M2 Pro. There should be an M2 MacBook Pro by now. There should be a Mac Pro by now. I have no idea how this is where we are, but this is where we are. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I wish that I could chalk it up to something like, oh, it's a supply chain problem or, anything like that. But there's none of that going on. So
no, supply chain's caught up. If anything, the companies who are selling the products can't catch up because there's so much backlog.
Yeah.
So you have thoughts, Jeff?
I have thoughts. Yes. I think that the disappointment that a lot of people will feel throughout 2023, assuming this report is correct, it's reasonable for them to be disappointed because people want new stuff. At the same time, my guess is that the reason we're not seeing or won't see a major refresh for AirPods or AirPods Max is because of what Apple is doing with chip development. I think the next step for their in-ear and over-ear headphone products is going to be to design a chip that allows them to do the lossless high-res audio wirelessly to their own headphones. And how that will work, because, I'm assuming that will be something separate from Bluetooth, because you need Bluetooth, so you just have your full compatibility, but then you do something else so that you can have the high-res audio. So I think Apple's working on something along those lines, and that's not going to be done in time for product refreshes this year. Apple Watch, I don't think we need a new Apple Watch every year. And I know it's a hot take that a lot of people don't like, but I don't think we need a new Apple Watch every year. And we just got the Ultra, and we did get some new features in the 8. Okay.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah, so maybe there's like a minor performance improvement, longer battery life, something like that, but nothing like really significant. All right, hold your thought, Kelly, because I'm going to wrap up so that you can explode. How can we not have had a major redesign of Apple TV yet?
Yeah.
At this point, we should have had something new and compelling. We don't have anything compelling enough for me to replace my Apple TV HD. I still don't have a 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So two things. First, Jeff, because you know the ins and outs of the digital audio and all of that, this question is specifically for you. Do you think that maybe AirPlay is how they can make that happen? If you use AirPlay from the headphones to the device?
AirPlay would totally work. That's because AirPlay, at that point you're doing Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of bandwidth over Wi-Fi to do that. The trick is, how do you do it without trashing the battery life? And so that might be what they're working on with the chips.
Yeah. And with the Apple TV, the thing that I have wondered for a long time, and I think you and I may have talked about this on TDO. I know you and I have talked about it, and odds are good it's on the internet somewhere because that's how we roll. We've talked about Apple TV soundbar.
Yes, we have.
And having that be a thing, and that would be kind of the next evolution of the Apple TV, is that it's your home hub, and also it makes it so those wimpy little speakers on your 4K TV have a little oomph. We can give you a little bit nicer sound, because like when I look at televisions, when I, like in stores and things like that, like almost everything is and a sound bar. If you're going to get a new TV, you're going to need a sound bar, or you're going to need a center channel. If that's how you roll, you're going to need, you need a separate audio system, because the audio system that the TV comes with like is literally a box check. We can't sell it to you if it has no sound whatsoever. So we've given you like the barest of minimums, because the TV's an inch thick or whatever. And so that kind of like, that's what makes, I keep leaning toward that, especially with spatial audio, because Apple made such a massive deal about spatial audio and head tracking. Like if I'm wearing my AirPods and I'm listening to something on any of my Apple devices and I turn my head, it's like I'm listening to it come from the television, which is still a thing that is very weird when it happens and I forget about. But I wonder if that's going to be where the Apple TV goes. And I don't blame you, by the way, for not buying one. I'm grumpy at both of my Apple TV 4Ks right now, for all the same reasons. But the redesign, like the fact that there hasn't been iteration in some of these product lines, is also very surprising to me. Like, we've gotten iteration after iteration on the phones. We got the satellite stuff on the watch, those kinds of the car crash detection and those sorts of things in the new phones and the new wearables. But we don't have, there is no AirPods Max 2. There's no Apple TV 4K 2023 kind of a thing, and I find that really sort of confusing.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I don't want to give them more money. I just need it to be worth my time. And right now it's really not.
Right. All right. Last story, another press release was out this week. Apple Maps now allows businesses to customize their listings. A free Business Connect tool that was announced today by Apple this week allows businesses to customize their location in the Maps app with a brand logo, images, and other key information such as special promotions, seasonal menu items at a restaurant. And then businesses can also highlight various actions such as ordering groceries through Instacart, making a reservation at Open Table, booking hotel booking.com, and more. Apple says these new capabilities are going to be available to businesses in the U.S. starting this week, and will be available to businesses globally in the coming months, which is going to take some time for the businesses to update their information. So basically, you set up a Business Connect account with your new or existing Apple ID, and Apple has verify the business. Then you can claim their location and begin updating it. It's kind of cool. You got the call, the order, the reserve. If it's tickets, there's a tickets button. What's the driving distance to that particular location, their website, the chat, menu, show times. And I mean, this looks like this is a really good way of getting information about a business location before you use the maps to go get the directions to go there to pick up or connect to whatever product they're offering. I think this is good. Don't you think, Jeff?
This is good, but I'm having a hard time praising Apple for doing this because there's a reason why if you are searching for a business, you search Google Maps.
Yep.
And then maybe you'll use Apple Maps for the directions, but you got to go to Google Maps to find it. And that's because Apple has not made the process of inputting businesses and updating the content for your businesses easy like Google has done. So this is a very welcome addition and will make maps more useful. Now step it up, Apple, and go all the way on this.
Yeah, link it.
Not where I thought you were headed, because where I was headed was I can't praise Apple for this because it took them until 2023 to figure it out. And maybe it's just because they don't want to pay Yelp anymore for that system level integration that you can get now. So yeah, like I somehow I thought that this had already been a thing. And so I was sort of surprised to see the headline about it because I thought you already could do this. But I feel like they just don't want to license Yelp anymore because you can, like a lot of places, at least here anyway, when you look something up, it'll give you directions and stuff. But if you scroll down a little, it'll say like more information on Yelp. It'll show you like their hours and their location. And then anything else you need, you have to go to Yelp to get it. So I just figured maybe that license renewal was coming up or something and Apple doesn't want to do it anymore. And so they figured out, well, what if we let people update their stuff on Apple Maps instead of having to do it in Yelp so that the information's accurate? So I don't know. But yeah, it's about time. And it really should have happened way before now. But Jeff, I agree with you. Like, the point of doing it in Google Maps is so that you can get the information from there. Because there is no way to do it on the Apple side, which is ridiculous.
It's stupid. Kelly, I have a new theory for your crackpot house.
Yes.
Apple can't stop licensing Yelp. They are bound at the hip, essentially, because Apple needs to have ratings for businesses. Mm-hmm. And no one is going to do that in Maps because Apple has never created a system that makes business searching as valuable there as it is in Google Maps.
Yeah.
But everyone uses Yelp. So if Apple wants to have that sort of detail about businesses, they can do all the stuff that they want to do, and they'll still have to license Yelp.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's either that or write a check to Google, and we know that's not happening.
No, Google's writing a check to them. All right. So, check out the link in the show notes. There's also a link to the press release that Apple released as well. Let's go on to the topics for this week. As we always talk about beta software for iOS and iPadOS 16.3 beta 2 is out. And it's also out for public beta as well. That came out along with developers. 16.2 has added support for physical security keys, finally, that can use to be added protection for an Apple ID. Any FIDO certified physical security key can be linked to an Apple ID and used for authentication when logging into a new device, otherwise accessing with an Apple ID. And those security keys do replace the digital verifications codes that Apple has been sending a device when you get Apple ID, which I think drives me crazy. But it's good that it's there. But now you have to have two physical keys that are required to use the feature. So that's going to be interesting.
Dave, my favorite authentication, I'm totally interrupting. I'm sorry.
No,
my favorite authentication is when I log into an Apple service on my Mac and the authentication code pops up on my Mac.
Yep. On my Mac,
and I enter it from my Mac. Just well played, Apple. Well played.
Yeah. Oh, Drives me absolutely crazy. And then in addition to the security keys in beta, they're also going to be adding more instruction for transferring music from an iPhone over to a HomePod using handoff. Well, if that works properly, that's another story. I haven't tried it, so nothing really earth shattering. I haven't noticed anything. I've updated both the iPad and the iPhone I have. I don't think you've noticed much either, Jeff, on your iPad. So
yeah, the only thing that I've noticed different so far is when I go to check the software version that's installed on my iPad, and it's a new number.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So nothing too exciting with them in the beta world. I mean, they went about 5 weeks, I think, between beta 1 and beta 2. So that probably just the holiday kind of stalled things a little bit.
That's my guess.
I'm thinking. So CES happened last week as we record this. I was pleasantly excited and happy to see the crowds again. I mean, yes, we've come out of this pandemic, and yes, people were kind of concerned, but well, nobody was wearing a mask, so there was very few, if any. So it was just kind of business as usual out there. Some of the numbers, I mean, the event was from January 5th through January 8th, and then the press events started 2 days prior to that. So I attended all the 3 major events, which was CES Unveiled, which was at Mandalay Bay, and then you have PepCom, which was a private media event that was at Caesar's Palace, and then Showstoppers was at the Bellagio. Needless to say, all 3 of those locations required a ton of walking because they were in ballrooms that were very far away and not like the Venetian Expo and the Las Vegas Convention Center. So, but there was 3,200 exhibitors, and there was over 110,000 folks that attended the conference, which is not as big as it had been in the past, but quite a big number considering people were pretty much not too terribly excited to be there in 2022, or of course, for sure not in 2021. So, but again, everybody needs to know, it's a place you just cannot see everything. It's impossible. I mean, you have to be a super person to be able to even attempt that, because it's just sheer mass amounts of places to go, and it's spread out from the north side of the strip all the way down to the south side of the strip and everything in between. So it was very interesting. I did get to experience the Vegas Loop that the Boring Company had created with the tunnels. Our friend Elon Musk. And I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to do it. I was staying at Resorts World, and kind of a side joke, Kelly missed it from Mac Voices on Tuesday, that I did get to witness the adult entertainment expo that was going on at that location of Resorts World. Resorts World is actually a very nice place. I was very impressed with that place. But apparently
they have a great view.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sorry I missed the story.
In both do I have it? Yeah, in both cases. So, but yeah, they do have a station for the Vegas Loop at the Resorts World, and it does have intermittent stops all the way through the Las Vegas Convention Center, and you take a ride in a Tesla. Don't go very fast, 25 miles an hour. It's in a tunnel, but I got to go into the Model X, which is the doors that have the hatch.
Oh yeah,
those kind of so it was kind of cool.
They don't call it that, but it's something.
And like I said, I took quite a few. Yeah, the Boring Company. I took quite a few Ubers. So then there's Teslas abound. So it was definitely interesting. So, but I wanted to kind of go through some of the products that stood out for me, and I have a list here. We'll see how far we can get through it here, but. First off, I'm going to start with OtterBox. OtterBox always makes some great cases, and they also make great chargers. They did announce the upcoming launch of the Otter Grip, which is a Symmetry series case, which is offering MagSafe compatibility including a grip that doesn't need to be removed for charging. I think this is very similar to what pop sockets are, because pop sockets are just so insanely popular that this.
Oh yeah, that looks like a fold-away pop socket.
Yeah, so it does fold away. I know pop sockets has been coming up with some newer designs. In fact, I didn't see pop sockets at the show this year. I probably missed them, but they were. I'm sure they were there. That this does go flush, but then MagSafe works, quite well with it. Pricing is going to be around $60, and they're going to be available in February. So I thought those were some cool cases. There was another thing that everybody was too overly excited about. I don't know why, but of course, they have this thing made by a company called Withings. It was all over the press. That is
there's something reader. Every year that is the baffling thing from CES that everybody's like, oh, did you see it? I'm like,
yeah, the toilet paper dog was in 2020, so now it's the U-Scan. You got toilet paper, now you have a urine reader that goes in your toilet. It's just a little miniaturized health lab that attaches to your toilet bowl and collects the urine for home urine screening. Withing says the urine screening can provide an immediate snapshot of your body's balance, provide useful monitoring and detecting of a larger variety of health information. I mean, it's kind of like a small little puck that clips to the toilet, and I guess there's cartridges that come out, and they last 3 months, and you have to go in there and take the cartridge out, and so it's checking all kinds of different things. NutriBalance, cycle for menstrual cycle predictions for women, ovulation for women, all kinds of the pH balances and vitamin C, everything that you would normally do when you're testing, when your doctor tells you to pee in a cup. So, and it's not cheap either, because it looks like it's going to be priced at almost 500 euros. For the reader and one cartridge, so that's got to be above $300 or $400 US, and it's not going to be available in the United States just yet because it's still being tested by the FDA. So another one of those products that everybody gets excited about, and yeah,
the fact that it's going through FDA testing, gets me kind of excited about this, but not in the hype way, but more in the let's use technology in a positive way for people. And there has to be enough of a subset of technology users that have some sort of medical condition where they need to be doing various testing all the time, and to be able to do something like this in home easily and have all that data, which presumably goes right into HealthKit, which means your doctor has it right away as well. I do see a lot of value in that. However, it won't stop me from being 12 years old and saying that had I been there and seen this at Showstoppers or wherever, I would have been escorted out when I said, let's test it right now, and then did.
Yes.
I'm still not allowed to talk about why I don't get to go to CES with Jeff anymore.
Yeah, statute of limitations, Kelly.
I know. Honestly, like the takeaway I had from this was, hey, a tech company debuted something at CES that could be useful for 100% of the population and not 50% of the population. And that was the part that I found notable, because that's the part I always find notable when something like this happens. And it shouldn't be revolutionary that they thought of something that only biologically female people are going to find useful. But we're still kind of at that point when it comes to stuff at CES. So I was really glad to see that it can be useful for everybody for a variety of things. This kind of reminds me of some of the democratizing we've seen with like some of the information the Apple Watch can give you that you can share with your doctor, and how advances in things like getting to have your health chart on your phone and the kind of data you can store in the health app, and medications and like medication reminders and things that makes it so that you can take a little more control over your own healthcare. And I'm for all of that for people who have the opportunity and have the need, and having it available easily to you in a reliable enough way that it makes it a lot easier to tell if this is a thing where you're going to need medical professional intervention, as opposed to just something might be kind of weird and, maybe it shakes out in a couple of days, but maybe you actually need to talk to somebody about it, or, and it also like helps a lot of people have more informed conversations with their doctors.
Shake out.
I did. That was for you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move on. Another product I saw, I thought was super cool. Actually, is the pen is getting very smart. This company called Nuwa, Nuwa, showed off this pen, and it's a smart ballpoint with and an app combo. What it was is just a kind of cool little pen, and it's an actual ballpoint pen, and you write notes like you normally do, but it also has a camera on it that it scans those notes. So like they were demonstrating using sticky notes, and as you wrote them on the sticky notes, it would transfer to an app on your iPhone, and you can keep the notes in journals and notebooks and use Post-its and all that stuff on that part. And it was very interesting to see. This is a Dutch company. I thought it was just a super cool little device with the camera. I got a link in the show notes from TechCrunch that showed it here, and it is still in testing phases. It isn't out yet, but I thought interesting. You being the pen aficionado that you are, Jeff, they're going to be isn't not going to be selling its own cartridges. They're going to be opting for any support. Supporting an industry standard D1 ink cartridges, so you can pick up a pack of 4 of them for $12, and you can pick those up easily. It does have subscriptions, so if you want to use the Pen Plus monthly subscription, that's going to be available as well. It's going to be released in the US like around August of 2023 for about $279, and it can be pre-ordered this week for $179. So you got two colors, black or ivory. I thought this was cool. I think it's something you'd like to take a look at, Jeff.
I would like to take a look at it. And Dave, it's okay. I mean, I appreciate that you said pen aficionado.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to say I have a pen fetish.
Okay.
So what they're doing with this pen, setting it up so you use standard cartridges instead of a special thing. It looks like you can write on any paper. You don't have to have a special book with grid dots or whatever on it. This is all stuff that's great. Now, for me to get like inappropriately excited for this, they need to fix these designs so it's like a regular pen. I mean, when you look at it, it's a special pen. It's when you look at it, it's not a pen. It's not a pen, and it has this big fat bulb at the end where the pen tip is. When you can make one of these pens so that it's like a regular pen, like like right here. Oh, what a surprise! I have a nice pen sitting on my desk right now. When it can be like this, then I will start getting super excited. Until then, I will be, a pen. I will be excited about stuff like this because we're getting closer to that point where it can just look like a pen and function like a pen until you need it to be more than a pen, and then it is. Mm-hmm. But as it stands right now, these are really cool products using really cool technology where you have to make sacrifices in comfort and usability for the features. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I still want to try one really bad.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It was super cool.
This is an actual pen. I just want to make sure, this isn't just sort of me being funny. This is just an actual, honest to God, R2D2 fountain pen. The one question I have that I think 100% of this panel is interested in is, does it work if you're left-handed?
I'm left-handed as well as you are, Kelly, and yes, it did. I tried it, and I didn't have a problem.
You are too, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We're all three. That's right.
Yes.
All three of us are left-handed.
Yes, 100% of the panel needs to know.
Yes, 100%.
That's the kind of thing that somebody would not think about and go,
I mean, if you look at the shape of it in that picture.
You can only hold it one way, and when you hold it with your left hand, you're covering up the camera, or whatever.
No, because the camera's at the tip, so it was comfortable. It is. I agree with you. It was kind of a strange design, and it's something that I don't know. We'll see how it was very. I mean, there was a lot of people looking at it. It was these guys were actually at PepCom, so it was definitely interesting.
I will say it's not dramatically weird for a pen, but it's definitely like there's something specific about that particular pen that, you know, if I just saw somebody writing with that in the world, like that's a pen that is serving some sort of purpose. It's orthopedic, or it's got some sort of special situation that is what it's for. And, you know, it turns out that's the case. But yeah, when you can just make a plain old pen, you know, it just looks like I'm pulling a Lamy Safari out of my backpack, then, you know, that's the point where I think that'll be the tipping point as far as adoption, is like, it doesn't look like I'm using some sort of big weird pen for something.
Yeah. So, I wanted to touch on one charging device and then a backpack I found here. Scosche, which I think makes some pretty awesome products. They came out with this new. Yeah, me too. I have the whole power bank device that, you know, you lay flat and, you know, it assembles different modules. This one's called the MagSafe GoBat MS5K. It's a wireless charging power bank that is MagSafe, so it attaches right to your iPhone. It also has a USB-C port on it, and it's a 5,000 milliamp battery pack, so it gives you some pretty good charging capabilities. Not very expensive, like around $55. It is available now, and it comes in black or a white color. But I thought this was real cool. I have a link to the Scosche website here in the show notes. And it attaches nicely to the iPhone. It's not too terribly big for someone who wants to have a little extra power, but also being able to carry it to plug in other things with the USB-C. And you also can charge your AirPods with it because it's MagSafe, and as well as if you wanted to use a Lightning to USB-C, you could. Cool little device. I like it.
Cool. Yeah. They always make, like, I've been a massive Scosche fan for years. Full disclosure, they've never sponsored anything. They have occasionally sent me review gear. But I've purchased a fair amount of Scosche stuff as well, because it's always really solid. It's always nicely priced. And it always feels like it was designed by somebody that has actually used whatever it is. Like, somebody has actually tried to use other MagSafe batteries on the back of their phone and sat down and designed this coming from that. Like, I've put miles on all these other ones, and here's how we're going to make ours better. Or, the one I have on my desk, this is a 10K GoBat model from Scosche, and it's got the little indicator lights on the front. It's got A out on one side and then C in and out on the other. Charges really fast, super duper reliable. I wish it did have MagSafe. That's why I was really excited to see this in the show notes, was because now I can get one of those, which will probably also do all the same stuff that this does, which I really like. So I appreciate their approach to everything, and like, I have 10-year-old retractable lightning cables from them that still work. I have retractable 30-pin iPod cable for my iPod from them that I still use.
They make good stuff.
It's fantastic, and I can't say enough nice things about them, especially and this is a separate podcast, but I've had to break up with Anchor for a bunch of reasons. And so knowing that there's still some place I can go to reliably get nicely priced gear gear to go with my gear, it's really nice to have Scosche around for that. So
I ordered one. I thought it was a nice little addition to have that. I haven't had a MagSafe battery, and I think a lot cheaper and probably more reliable than Apple's one that they have. So.
Everything's going to be cheaper than whatever you can get. Exactly. Whatever you can get from Apple. Yeah. So hi, Chris, the PR guy at Scosche that occasionally emails me about things. I'm always excited to see what they come out with, especially because they usually do a number of things at CES. So I'm always looking forward to what they've got there. So
absolutely,
it's great.
This product actually has not been released just yet. It won the Innovation Award from CES and Henri. It's called the HyperPack Pro made by Hyper. Hyper's known for making battery chargers and connectors, all that kind of fun stuff. But they came up with this new backpack, and what's notable about this backpack, it has built-in Find My. There is a built-in Find My module that's mounted at the top of the backpack, and you can definitely set it up so you don't need to have an AirTag in order to do this. It has very generous packs. It does have the built-in luggage pass-through. It also has it also has a compartment where you can put a battery pack inside the backpack and it not be floating around. It's got a nice place that holds it in place, and you can feed the cables through two of the sections of the backpack, and has a good, simple, quick access backpack for like your passport and wallet and such. It has an RFID pouch that you can protect your credit cards and such from RFID exposure. And it's got nice side pockets. It'll fit up to a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Has a water bottle holder, and it's a nice little backpack. It was on Indiegogo, and there's still a early bird specialty. You could actually support them if you want. They've already made their goal that they wanted, and it looks like this is going to be something released, and I gave in and bought it. So, they were showing it off at CES. So it's if you go to the Indiegogo site, you could get 40% off as an early bird for $120. It's going to be priced at $200, but I think it's a nice backpack. Really, it seems like it's something that's I might use more full time than the one I've had. I've had my backpack for years. So you're seeing more innovations like that, especially with the fact that it'll include something like Find My, which I think is cool.
I think this is the first bag I've seen that has the Find My built in like that. I don't think I can't think of another one off the top of my head that would have that built in, as opposed to like, there's a secret pocket in the back of my backpack and I drop an AirTag in it and now I can find it,
Right.
So, not having to DIY it, is nice. And Hyper's another one of those companies that makes a lot of really solid, reliable, gear for my gear, as I like to say. And, this looks like a really nice backpack. It looks, it doesn't look it in the pictures or anything, but since it will hold a 16-inch laptop, I know it's going to be a little bigger than
I think the size was
bigger than I need, but it's definitely because if I have more bag, I will just put more stuff in it, and so I try to make sure
abhors the vacuum.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's 22. I think it was rated at 22 cubic inch capacity.
22 liters.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. My current backpack is 19. I have a Tom Bin Synapse 19, and I pink puffy heart that bag so much. It's the best bag. But this is me. I'm taking a good long look at this backpack because I love my Tom Bin, but this looks really, really nifty. And I shouldn't be allowed to have that much space because I fit 22 liters of stuff into my Synapse 19.
There you go.
But, so I shouldn't be allowed, but it does look really good. And I like, I also don't see a lot of charging capable sorts of bags either, even still. Given the number of people that I see out in the world, walking around with a cable from their phone to their bag or whatever, like having that be elegantly solved is still not something that I'm seeing in a lot of gear. And I don't, again, this is a baffling decision that I don't understand why more people don't do. Like the phone, like having a nice soft pocket in a bag for a phone. Most of them don't have one, or if they do, it's for a flip phone. And that is, again, a ludicrous decision. So, this is a pretty good looking bag. Well,
you will hear my review, assuming I receive it, because I did support them.
I look forward to your review.
Yeah, because it looked too cool to pass up. So we're going to check that out.
Yeah. And Hyper's a reliable Indiegogo to back. Like they just sort of use it as a pre-order.
Oh yeah, Hyper's.
Now. So yeah,
they were there with other stuff.
Yeah, they're a reliable company.
They were with other stuff, but there are going to be more other things. Again, God, there's just so much stuff, I I will be getting some samples from Kensington. I'm going to talk about some of their docks. So you'll hear about that next week. So I'm going to save that for next week's show. Cool. And we'll check that out. So, lastly, I know, Jeff, you've been talking a lot about weather app since the demise of Dark Sky, but I really wanted to talk about this a little bit because it's been quite the dilemma. Which weather app do we really want to go with? And I know you made your decision. We're going to link in the show notes here from Mac Rumors about what are the top 5 weather apps that are out there. You've twisted my arm and I've decided to subscribe. So if you could kind of tell the listeners which one you decided to go with after Dark Skies leaving us, and how you're liking it so far.
I went with Carrot Weather. Okay. And the reason I went with Carrot Weather over Weather Underground, there were 2 main reasons. 3 reasons. And a maniacal devotion to the Pope. No, 2 reasons.
Come in again.
Yeah, I'll come in again. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. So first, Weather Underground does not have its own Apple Watch complication. Yeah, so that just took it out of the running, which is unfortunate because it's a really great app.
It is.
And then the second thing was that the developer of Carrot Weather saw the opportunity and took advantage of it in a totally good way.
They did.
And you know how you can do custom interfaces for Carrot Weather? He made one that's basically Dark Sky. So, ooh. Yes. So I have on my iPhone an interface that is almost exactly Dark Sky. Like it looks so Dark Sky that you might question if Dark Sky did a reskinning of their interface just to spruce it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that no, it's Carrot Weather.
Did you have to download that, or does it come?
No, that's all built in. Now, I can't remember if that's part of the premium package or not, but like the other things that I wanted, having the weather radar and stuff built right into the interface all the time, mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff that required a subscription, which I'm happy to pay because I know part of what I'm paying goes to pay for the data that the developer is feeding into the app for me. Right. Which brings me to the third reason why I went with Carrot Weather, and that's because you can set which weather source you want to use.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. Trifecta. And it turns out that after I installed the current version and was poking around the interface and got to where the awards are, I already had a badge for being an OG Carrot user. I had forgotten when it first came out. I bought Carrot and then I'm guessing shortly after that I switched to Dark Sky because it came out. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had Carrot for a while too, and I did offer a free version of it. So to have this data, so it because as I went in and looking at the different subscriptions, there are some legacy subscriptions I have access to. I think because I was a legacy customer, so I think they're giving you a better deal. But it looks like that ultra plan for $30 a year, which is really not that bad, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that you get everything, and I see all. I even see Dark Sky as a data source, but I think that's going to probably disappear from what I read. Soon.
Yes, that's part of the whole thing, and I need to do some more research because it sounds like, but I'm not certain, that the reason Dark Sky is disappearing is because Apple is just rolling that data source under the Apple brand, so it'll still be Dark Sky data. Mm-hmm. But you'll be choosing Apple as the source.
Apple Weather, which they have in there now.
Weather Kit or something. Yeah.
Because that's a choice in there too. But they have AccuWeather and some of these other ones I haven't even heard of before. That's in there.
Some of the others are specifically local user feed only, whereas Dark Sky did that and it had other sources going in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you know there's a bunch of people around you that have good personal weather stations and they're feeding into one of these services,
yep,
and you need the data for right where you are, one of those others could be a better choice. So you have to do some research based on your use case to figure out which source is actually best for you.
Yeah, and plus they do use weather stations. If you own a weather station that's set up in your home, looks like you can do that, as well as I think
you can feed that in. Yep,
and feed it into a public station. There's 2 different public station choices. I'm kind of excited. I didn't realize how insanely advanced this is compared to what Dark Sky was doing.
Everyone thought it was just the thing that told you what the temperature was and then
called you a meat sack. A meat sack, right?
Yeah, the thing I love most about Carrot Weather is the attitude, the sass of getting the weather, but also the timeliness. Like I found out Nichelle Nichols passed away by checking the weather and seeing R.I.P. Uhura as the status update on the weather. It was very sad, but I'm glad that it was Carrot Weather that told me.
Wait, Nichelle Nichols died?
Yeah,
I knew.
I'm like, Jeff, I'm sorry. The other thing that's really cool about Carrot Weather is that it has smart layouts. So if you spend a little bit of time in the app, you can have it give you different information based on certain conditions. Like if it's raining, maybe that's the only time you care about the radar, right? Or whatever. And so you can have it customized, like different dashboards for different sorts of weather conditions. So that was the thing I really liked about it. Like I don't care about the air quality. Like if it's raining, because generally if it's raining, the air quality here isn't very bad. So I only need to worry about that if it's over a certain temperature, because when it's over a certain temperature, I know we have an inversion. I am one of those people because I was so distraught over having lost Dark Sky as a weather source that I just hauled off and went and bought a weather station. So I have a Tempest weather weather system
those are really nice.
From Weatherflow. And we got it mounted. And because I had to redo my network recently, in a very deeply on-brand decision, my new network router is called WAN Solo, and the access point hooked to it, because the access point I hooked to it is Lando Calrissian. And so, of course, when I took this big, weird, roundy, black and white shaped hunk of technology and went and mounted it in the backyard to watch if it was going to rain or not, I had to call it Stormtrooper. Yeah. Don't tell Mr. Kelly that I have renamed the garage door in the MyQ app to be the blast door. But it's the blast door now. And you can ask the lady to open and close the blast door for you. So yeah, I got a Tempest weather system and hooked it up with public data. And the thing that I really liked about Tempest is that it gives me the option to have 2 sets of information. So I can have the public data, which is not the exact location of my house and not the exact and not my exact where I live, latitude and longitude. So and also and I can have that public web page that anybody that wants to can go see what the weather is literally in my backyard. But then I can have my own, but I can set it up for my own access with exactly what the information needs to be. So that's a thing that I have appreciated. And there will be a link to that in the show notes because I've pasted it into the show notes. And the app for it is really nice. And also with Carrot, again, I do have a paid subscription. And so I can point Carrot at that as well if I just want exactly what the weather is in my backyard and don't care about the rest of it. I do have it hooked up. I hooked it up to Weather Underground, I think it was.
That's the one to hook it up to.
So, yeah. Actually, I think I found out about them because I went to look for a weather system that I could contribute weather data to, like something like Weather Underground. Mostly because where I live is kind of between 2 places where they report weather from regularly here in Portland. So it's never quite what one of them is, and it's never quite what the other one is. And so I have to sort of triangulate based on what information they're giving me from 2 different places that are not near me. So I'm also just sort of looking forward to not having to do that anymore and being able to tell, yes, where I live, here's what's up, So I'm looking forward to that. It was a piece the cake to set it up, and has so far been really easy to use. So I was glad to see it.
Yep.
So.
Then just to wrap up, the article just talks about some of the other weather apps out there. The Apple Weather is a good app if you don't want anything crazy customizations like Carrot does. So you get that for free. There's no charge for that at all. You have AccuWeather, which I find to be kind of clunky. Never was been a big excited with them. The Weather Channel it's just a bloatware, honestly. I guess you pay a pretty good premium for getting rid of all that, but the Weather Channel's been around for a long time. And the NOAA radar and weather forecast, not the too terribly exciting with that app either, but they do have in-app purchases you could do as well. I said, Jeff, you talked me into it, so I'm becoming a Carrot user now. I had it, like I said, years ago, but now I'm going to do premium. It's worth it.
I think I talked Jeff into getting it in the first place. So
yeah. You probably did. Yeah. And here we are. We've come full circle, and now all three of us are using it.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, you don't have to customize it if you don't want to. Like, if it's but you do have options for like, I have a home screen widget for it. Aside from the complication on my watch, because if I have my phone in my hand, maybe I need to know the weather there too, so I can just glance at it.
Right.
And I really like. And you can adjust the amount of attitude it gives you. So if you are not a person who likes snark with your weather, that's fine. If you're not, why you're listening to this show is a very separate conversation that we probably ought to have with somebody. But it can be, just plain. You can have like, no attitude. You can have it on overkill, like I do, which includes the occasional bad word, which always kind of pleases me because I live in the Pacific Northwest. I frequently have bad words to apply to the weather. So I'm always happy to have it. So, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap over this week. It was a great show. Appreciate everybody listening. We had a great time here. So that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming, which is on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thanks to everybody who was in the chat tonight and interacting with us during the show live. That's where you can also watch and listen to the shows, past shows. Go ahead and visit the In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discussed are flipped into that magazine. Our link is in the show notes. You can subscribe to the show by going to your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter at DaveG65, as well as In Touch with iOS, and Mastodon. I'm on mastodon.cloud at DaveG65. And Kelly Guimont, thank you so much for being here. Let people know where you can find you.
Thanks so much for having me. I always enjoy getting to come by and chat with you about Apple news. Especially this week, I got to find out some CES stuff that I hadn't actually seen. So you can find me you basically cannot find me on Twitter. I mean, you can find me, but I'm not there. I just left my account up so nobody else can use it. And so you want to look for me over on Mastodon. I am Verso at mastodon.social. And right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. It's not .cloud. I'm on verso.mastodon.social. And you can occasionally find me over on the Incomparable, where I generally talk about Marvel things or Star Wars things, but sometimes other stuff too. And you can also find me on the After Show, where Mike Rose and I continue to chit chat and crack each other up, just like we used to do on the Two Hot Talkcast. And the rest of the time, I don't have a lot. I don't have a ton of other things going on at the moment. So sometimes you can find me here. Sometimes Tuesday nights with Chuck Joyner.
All right. Thanks so much, Kelly. Jeff Gamet, thanks as always for being here. Where can people find you?
It's always a pleasure to get to hang out with you. Jay Gamet on the popular socials. So that right now would be Mastodon, Instagram, YouTube. It's still there on Twitter, but I'm watching Mastodon more than Twitter right now. Most Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner. Then Thursdays on The Big Show. And then most Thursday evenings here with you, Dave. And then on Fridays on The Mac Show. And then also on The Context Machine, because Brian Chaffin and I apparently can't get enough of each other.
That is true. All right. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show, and welcome to 2023. We have a lot of great things ahead for this year, and we'll talk again soon.